I thought I'd be happy to see Whirlwind.
Anyways, introducing our players here. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side of Whirlwind as the yellow Protoss player playing for Team Roxkiss. It is Pomi.
Yeah, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Sorry, just a second. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the Teal Zerg, playing for VP Bank. I own a bank monitor. Thank you very much, Bank. Is sLivko.
Indeed. Yeah. Current score is 1-0 for Pomi here. He was able to take the last game by... Well, actually, not really. That game was actually even close. He was just basically rolling over sLivko, and sLivko couldn't actually do anything about that. He was just not having the upgrades to be able to combat that army. But maybe he can change it up a little bit now. Maybe also try a different style, not go for a Ling Roach Pest as he was trying to. Maybe also going for maybe a more straight up game. Let's see what he can do. On the other end though, Pomi once again throwing down the pylon in his main base. Let's see if he gets a gateway or a forge. Or maybe the Nexus straight away, no one knows. It will be the Nexus.
Yeah. I've gone blank. The tension was killing me. There we go. Sorry, I was just a bit distracted. So yeah, we do have a hatch first coming down for our Zerg player as well. So both players opting for the macro game. Probably a little bit relieved to be on Whirlwind and being able to maybe play a more comfortable game. From what I've seen of Yonsu so far, it's a very aggressive map. Everybody kind of feels like they have to get up in the face of their opponent and do what, you know, get out there and get a very aggressive very quickly. That's nice to see. Forge coming down in the main base for our Protoss player. And we have nothing so far. Oh, sorry. Ball coming down for the Zerg.
Yeah, and also we already have the gas here for sLivko, and he's also heavily saturating that. So he might go for a speedling opening here, quickly trying to get some map control. That is always nice. The question is, will he also mine gas for more than just a speed upgrade? Will he also continue mining gas after he gathered 100? That is the question, and we might answer that in just about a couple of seconds. Nexus eventually on the other end of the map now will finish up here. Also, Pomi is working on getting a wall in here going. Already throwing down a gateway here. Also will throw down another pylon and a cannon here to be able to fortify that correctly. sLivko eventually pulled out his workers from the gas, so it's definitely only for the speed upgrade. No further banelings or whatever someone could think of to go for a quick aggression. It will just be speedlings.
Yeah. Speedlings are a very effective choice on Whirlwind. As Zerg, you do want to get that map control, and before you can get map control with the creep spread, you tend to use that with Zerglings, and it's a very hard map to wall off on. It takes a lot of resources to wall this natural expansion ramp off, and the third and fourth are basically undefendable for a long time. So yeah, Speedlings are a really nice choice.
Absolutely. Pomi already getting his +1 upgrades there, and also saturating his gases just a little bit with one worker in each, so he doesn't want to get all that much gas, but a little bit, just to be able to get his warp gate starting, I think. And might then eventually also saturate it a little bit more, get some further tech going. With that +1 upgrade, of course, a gateway burst once again could be possible. Also, of course, a blink play as we saw previously. I once again don't really think that he goes for the Stargate play, but let's see. So everything is possible right here.
This is a very Stargate positioned pylon in the top of his base here. No mothership core so far, which is a little bit surprising. He's probably saving the gas, but you rarely see the skipping of rarely see the skip of a mothership core this early in a PvZ.
You know what
We do have 5 gateways coming down in the natural in the main base now, and all probes coming off gas. So we might be seeing a Zealot rush, maybe?
Yeah, Zealots all the way here for, or basically mostly Zealots all the way. He might eventually mix in a couple of of Stalkers or Sentries
see
1 or
this
2
very
because
often,
he
but-
just doesn't have the gas for more. But he will have a lot of Zealots here, already up to 7 gateways right now. That's a very, very quick timing here that he's going for. Of course, with +1 finishing up here in just a couple of seconds, he will now move out. Of course, with the probe trying to get a proxy pilot in position. Eventually, though, I think sLivko just barely not seeing that with those links. She will now spot the probes and the proxy pilot being thrown down. But of course, with those +1 zealots here, he basically will slaughter those links.
You don't see pure zealots very often in these heavy gateway, early gateway pushes, but Jesus, are they effective!
Oh,
They
now
look-
he actually
oh.
saturated his gas back, so never mind. But still, he will now push forward since he saw those roaches. Eventually, first couple of links will kill off the first units that stream down the ramp. Also will get another good surround onto most of those stalkers. He's already doing a very great job there. Also will now establish his roach production here behind all of that. Pylon gets taken out here, meaning that the warp-ins will take quite some time to actually get to the fight scene. Also, Spinecrawlers are now being thrown down, but the stalkers pretty much cannot do anything. The roaches will now arrive here. Nice micro, they're pulling the weakened stalker back, but it's still, I don't think, pretty much right now, it is not enough here for Pomi to actually push up that natural ramp. Instead, focusing on the third base, that is definitely the smarter option here for him to go for.
It's definitely one of the reasons I still don't understand why people go with Stalkers in these early game pushes versus Zerg. If this had been all Zealots, this push would have been much more different. We have another engagement here. A few units going to get surrounded. The Zealot's going to get picked off really quickly by the Roaches and just get mown down really quickly. Those Roaches have just got so much DPS versus pretty much anything, and this push is basically over as far as I can see. Pure Zealot's being warped in now, but I think it's a bit too late. I think if he had have gone Pure Zealot from the beginning, he would have had a lot more Zealots, and they would have done a lot more damage.
Exactly.
Ignore the Roaches, but
Schmig once again bringing up a good point here. If you just go for Pure Zealots only, and your opponent gets some Roaches out, then those Roaches will just be able to kite you to infinity on creep.
yeah, you're right, because the Roaches just got decimated by Stalkers. Oh wait, no they didn't, they got owned.
I mean, still, it's of course, sLivko went for a very, very good counter build due to that. So maybe it was also a little bit of a lucky counter there that he went for.
Oh, and he attacked
But
his own
if he
gateway
went
there.
purely for links, if he decided to skip the Roach for, and it would definitely would have been well.
We have a big engagement, Elmo.
But now the Roaches are pushing
natural.
forward here. Sorry.
But the Roaches, yeah, they're going to bust through this Cybernetics core and then get through. Yep. Oh, that's nasty. So now we're stuck onto Zealot Tech, unless he threw down, he's going to throw one down in the main base. Cybernetics core, that is. Although this is probably a good thing for Pomi in a way, now that the Zealots don't have so much of a wall-off to contend with if they do have to engage again at the ramp, although he's going to complete it with another gateway. And now Immortal production coming out, and both players now stabilizing into the mid-game. They're about even. 3-base Zerg versus 2-base Protoss is about...
I think sLivko is in a
economically
little
even.
bit of a better position, but still it's not really lost for Pomi. Of course, he went for that little bit of a... not really an all-in, but definitely a very, very aggressive opening here that will set him back just a little bit. Also now, sLivko just about to finish his hive here. Already pretty much rushing up to tier 3 here. Let's see if he maybe now goes for Ultras, because he once again researches here the melee upgrades. So that could be an option for him here. Of course, once again, Brutals could also be an option. So let's see what he's going for here.
Got a lot of Stalkers warping in back at home because all of these aggressive pylons have been taken down. There are Immortals in this mix now, so these Roaches are going to be... they're going to have to be very careful, especially in small groups like that getting cut off. We do have the majority of sLivko's forces being split up, but really nice aggressive pylon placement over on the left-hand side here. Throwing down 2 is also a nice move I like. Ensuring that he'd get a warp-in round if one gets sniped off.
Anyways, Pomi will now push on forward here, going for the all-in, and sLivko, interestingly here, throwing down Vipers. He maybe expected some Colossus to be added to the mixture here, or maybe just to get the Immortals, that could also be the case. Maybe also going for some maybe Fungus and then Blinding Cloud above that. That could also be an option, but
We have sLivko
Pomi's force
again
is
getting
big.
supply blocked as he keeps getting these
Actually, now heavily
his
supply block,
his overlords in the wrong position, and Pomi got to snipe off 5 or 6. Big engagement coming in. The
There
Zealots
we
in the
go,
perfect
there's the
position at
Fungals
the
and also
front.
Blinding Cloud. Those Stalkers cannot do anything. Zealots will push forward here. But I think Pomi will just have a little bit too much. Also now reinforcements swing in from the back here for sLivko, so he will get a nice round here. And with that he is actually going to be able to push that into a corner here and trying to take that one out. Now once again, beautiful funnels raining down. All of those units will weaken that quite considerably. Also Infested Terrans will be thrown down here. He should maybe get the Infestors out of there because they will eventually end up dying here. But already a very nice hold so far here for sLivko. But still Pomi is pushing on forward here strong with that quick reinforcement here from the Warp Prison. Will once again push forward here. The Vipers no longer have any energy, so it's only now pure Roaches here to deal with those units. Immortal will get abducted here, immediately gets sniped here. Very well done there. Roaches now once again a little bit on the retreat, but already the probes are pulled here. But Pomi pretty much has to win the game with this push right now, and I think sLivko realizes that and pretty much now looking to only hold it. Anyways, Pomi once again also now pushing forward here.
Focusing being another issue that we're seeing crop up a couple of times here tonight. Pomi's forces are now trapped up in this fourth here. He doesn't have a lot of ways out, but he does have a Warp Prism, positioning it on the low ground, maybe to try and get a flank, but he pulls it back now, sniping off the rocks, so the Zealots don't get too pushed in, but he does definitely need a few more Zealots in this mixture, I think, and maybe some sentries, more sentries, more.
Anyways, Pomi will once again push on forward here. sLivko has to be careful not to lose those Vipers, because if he can once again get those Abducts and Blinding Clouds done, he should be able to once again be in a very nice position, but at the moment he has no Infestors. Now we'll get 5 here to be able to throw on a couple of Fungals. That is very important here for him. And Pomi now pretty much trying to go for the kill here, trying to assault the natural here. Will eventually warp in even more Stalkers. But with +1/+1 against +1/+1, he now doesn't have the upgrade advantage that he had in the previous game. So it's definitely a lot easier for sLivko here to be able to hold that.
And here we go, another big engagement in the bottom, on the right-hand side ramp of the third expansion. So many units here from both sides, but the upgrade advantage is in... some of those Stalkers getting sniped off at the last second there. The upgrade advantage is in Pomi's favor. He does have the +1 ground upgrades, which is really ground armor, sorry, which is a really effective upgrade. More Stalkers being warped in and just coming in, fungaling some of these units, sniping them off and then running away.
Clouds, absolutely beautiful. They're rendering all those units useless. Once again, also beautiful fungals here. sLivko is doing a great job at holding this, and now it's pretty much only Stalkers. Once again, beautiful funnels here. The Stalkers cannot do anything, and the Roaches are going to push forward here and looking to take that out. And with no third bases up behind that, Pomi is now looking very, very worse. Bad English. Pomi wins
and
it.
The GG gets called, evening it up. So now 1-1, both players playing very effective there. Pomi overcommitting to Stalkers probably in the end there. He should have been teching